Victory in the Arbor Wilds. The Archdemon might have been a real threat to our army, but it flew off once we turned the tide. It is still out there, however. I wonder what Corypheus plans now.
He'll hide. What other choice does he have?
Do not underestimate Corypheus. He is powerful, and you have yet to fight him one-on-one. But he will come. You will get your chance.
You don't seem concerned about that.
I'm terrified. Yet I have faith in you. Not long ago, this was impossible to imagine. You, successful against all odds, victory close at hand. The time has come to consider what will come next.
We still have to beat Corypheus.
I have not forgotten. Blessed are they who stand before the corrupt and the wicked and do not falter. I will stand with you in the end, Inquisitor, if you will have me.
Though all before me is shadow, yet shall the Maker be my guide. I shall not be left to wander the drifting roads of the beyond. For there is no darkness in the Maker's light, and nothing that he has wrought shall be lost.
A prayer for you?
For those we have lost, and those I am afraid to lose.
I'm glad you haven't lost your faith.
I've questioned it at times, but I found comfort in faith when life offered little. Corypheus will retaliate. It's only a matter of time. We must draw strength wherever we can.
Unless he gets bored and surrenders. Any chance of that?
I doubt it.
Magnificent. Oh, suddenly, it all makes sense. I now understand the nuance behind elven words. The ancient lore reveals patterns I would never have suspected. It is exhilarating, the rush of images. Truth dangling just out of reach.
Tell me more.
Take the Alluvians. It was always assumed their use was lost after the Tevinter conquest of Arlathan. But the ancient elves had closed all paths to the crossroads long before. They warred with themselves, and the Alluvians were sealed to prevent an enemy from using them to attack. So much is misunderstood. It would take years to absorb, if I get the chance.
I'm pleased I could give you that, at least.
And pleased I am to have the chance, believe me. None of which has anything to do with why I asked you here, of course. Earlier, I said there was a way to match the power of Corypheus, Inquisitor, and there is. We must summon Mythal.
My people believe that Mythal was trapped beyond the Fade long ago. Even if she isn't, she's never shown any evidence of being alive, never responded to our prayers.
Whatever Mythal was, goddess, myth, or ancient being, the voices of the well say a part of her power lingers on. How, or in what form, I cannot say, but that power is exactly what we need. I must go to an altar in the wilderness to perform the summoning, and you must be with me.
You don't need me for some ritual sacrifice, I hope.
The altar could have a guardian or other surprises, thus your company would be best. Just think, Inquisitor. Soon you could have an answer your people have sought for generations.
So, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this. We went to an elven rune, so a witch could consume a pool of magical goo and then walked through a mirror, and wound up back here. Have I mentioned that the shit that happens to you is crazy? I don't want to think about this anymore. You want to discuss something normal?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
It comes swiftly, this moment that will be spoken of for ages. The day the Herald of Andraste challenged the Darkspawn that thought itself a god. Defeat him, and you'll be more than a holy woman to the people. You'll enter legend.
Now that sounds more dangerous than anything I've done so far.
And there is the wit that reassures us. People joined the Inquisition after hearing you were blessed, but they've stayed because of how you lead. I wanted to tell you that I shared their sentiments, Inquisitor, and... well, I suppose I just did.
You've always been there for us, Josephine. And for me.
It means much to hear you say that. Farewell, my lady. When you face Corypheus, may you walk in the light.
My dear, I know you must have a great deal on your mind right now, but I need to speak with you. You know as well as I how far the Inquisition's influence has spread, and how desperate the Grand Clerics have become. Our opinion will be instrumental in their election of the new Divine.
They want Leliana and Cassandra as candidates.
The Inquisition may not be invited to their vote, but our actions will certainly influence the Grand Clerics. To sit on the Sunburst throne, a candidate should have grace, charm, and a will of solid steel. Cassandra may lack the first two, but unless you can think of someone better, she is the strongest choice.
What would your ideal Divine do with her power?
The most important thing, of course, is the restoration of the Circles and the Templar Order. The institutions that have protected Thedas for ages must be rebuilt, and the malcontents utterly crushed. We cannot allow anarchists to threaten the lives of the innocent. After we have restored sanity to the world, there will be time to address voices of dissent.
Where can we find candidates outside of the Chantry? There must be someone other than Leliana or Cassandra.
The Chantry is already desperate. They would not look to unordained women if they had any choice. You may have better luck searching the halls of the Imperial Court. There are many women serving the Empire who have the necessary presence and acumen.
Leliana might be a better choice than Cassandra, don't you think?
Leliana is a well-meaning fool. She will do irreparable harm to countless people in the name of freedom. She proposes to abolish the Circles with nothing but a solemn promise from mages not to murder children. When an angry mage lashes out inside a tower, villages aren't destroyed. The Circle protects us all. Mages will die and take ordinary men with them in a war that cannot be won. Consider carefully, Inquisitor. Everything we do is a sign from the Maker to those who seek one.
The Temple of Mythal was extraordinary. In all my journeys, I never dreamed of finding anything like it. What will you do with the power of the well once Corypheus is dead?
I'm not arrogant enough to think it's my decision alone. Whatever happens, we'll do it together.
You think to share your power, to avoid the temptation to misuse it. A noble sentiment, but ultimately a mistake.
Why?
Because while one selfless woman may walk away from the lure of power's corruption, no group has ever done so.
There's a first time for everything.
Perhaps. But it will not be this time. I believe even you know that.
Why is this so important to you?
You have not been what I expected, Inquisitor. You have impressed me. You must not let false modesty allow you to pass your power to someone else. There are few regrets sharper than watching fools squander what you sacrificed to achieve. Forgive my melancholy. Corypheus has cost us much. The Temple of Mythal did not deserve such a fate. The orb he carries, and its stolen power, that at least we may still recover. With luck, some of the past may yet survive.
You planning to leave before we take down the bad guy?
No, but there may not be a later. It seemed wise to say my goodbyes now.
What happened at the Elven Temple? It's got me thinking. I should go back, shouldn't I? To Tevinter. Once this is done. If we're still alive. All my talk of how terribly wrong things are back home. But what do I do about it? Nothing.
How does this relate to the Elven Temple?
You encountered ancient elves. A piece of history. Something the Imperium didn't destroy. Maybe my people can atone for what we've done. There is something still left to restore. Maybe not all of us want to, but that could be altered. If you can change minds, so can I.
You're not doing nothing, Dorian. You came here. You're fighting with us.
Thank you for saying that. I want to do more than stop Corypheus, however. I want to save my home. It might surprise you to know that you're the one who inspired me. You're shaping the world, for good or ill. How could I aspire to do any less? If it means proving that Tevinter can be better, that there's hope even for my homeland, I would do anything.
A message from Divine Justinia.
That's a shock. You're all right reading it.
Thank you for the concern, Inquisitor. But I am. This message was written months, perhaps even years ago, to be delivered to me if she died. I've heard of such contingency plans. A sudden death often leaves loose ends. I'm to go to Valence, a small village on the waking sea. There is something hidden there.
Do you know what you're looking for?
The Divine was a powerful woman who used her position to obtain all sorts of things. Whatever she hid in Valence would very likely benefit the Inquisition and must be kept from falling into the wrong hands. If I'm lucky, she will have instructions for me.
Why hide things in Valence? What's so special about it?
Justinia was revered mother at the chantry there for many years before she became the Divine. It is a place that holds great meaning for her.
I'll help in whatever way I can.
Wonderful. I was hoping you would agree to come with me to Valence. One more thing. If what is hidden in Valence is as valuable as I think, we're not going to be the only ones looking for it. I shall meet you at the chantry in Valence. Try not to delay.
You wanted to see me?
Bull!
I got it!
E poste sala talvasoth.
Yeah, my soul's dust. Yours is scattered all over the ground, though, so... Sorry, boss. I thought I might need backup. Guess I'm not even worth sending professionals for.
You knew the assassins were coming?
Little change in the guard rotation tipped me off.
Why didn't you tell me ahead of time?
You go through years of Ben Hasrath training to hide facial expressions when I wasn't looking? See? Like that. If I'd warned you or the guards, the assassins would have been tipped off.
Are you all right?
Fine. Hurt myself worse than this fooling around in bed.
What if they used poison?
Oh, they definitely used poison. Sarcomec. Liquid form. If I hadn't been dosing myself with the antidote, I'd be going crazy and puking my guts up right now. As it is, it stings like shit. But that's about it.
Are you interested in getting some payback?
Against who? The entire Ben Hasrath? Besides, this wasn't serious. Sending 2 guys with blades against me? That's not a hit. That's a formality. Just making it clear that I'm Talva Shoth. Talva fucking Shoth.
You acted like a Talvashoth for years. That didn't change you. Neither does this.
That was just a role. This is my life. As one of those. I've killed hundreds of Talvashoth in Saharan. Bandits, murderers, bastards who turned their back on the Qun. And now I'm one of them.
Bullshit. You're a good man.
Without the Qun to live by.
Hey! You're a good man. If the Ben Hasrath don't see that, it's their loss.
Thanks, boss. Anyway, I'll get this cleaned up and let Red know what happened. Boss, whatever I miss, whatever I regret, this is where I want to be. Whenever you need an ass kicked, the Iron Bull is with you.
I'm sorry. Oh wait, no I'm not. It's just the funniest, isn't it? That creaky old Abelas in Mythal saying the elves weren't destroyed by Tevinter.
If that's a joke, I don't get it.
Everyone is always, oh, poor elves, victims of this and whatever. But the Empire ate itself. Love it. We're not proper if we aren't sad about the grand history stolen from us. Turns out we're no better than anyone else. Plus, a big old temple full of demon-worshipping lies. Grand, that.
You seem pretty certain. You don't believe anything from Mythal.
Course not. What, I should believe all that stuff? Because elves? I mean, it was impressive and all. Makes the Dalish look like tits for living in the woods, but so what? There can't be a bunch of gods, and the Maker. Don't matter how much or little you believe, those don't fit. So call me stupid, but I believe the stuff not made up by dead people who failed. Mythal is a ruin full of demons. I mean, it just makes sense, right?
There's so much history there. What if some of it is true?
No, now you're stupid. You can't think that because it's stupid.
But everything we saw.
Why believe it? Because Abelas looked weird? If that's all it takes, Cariffi's shitheel is full of lumpy truth. I get it. You're an elf. Be all elfy. But this? You're the frigging herald of Andraste. Every time you open your mouth, you'll sound like an idiot.
The Inquisition is probably used to me sounding like an idiot.
Not for me to say, yeah. Just saying. Anyway, believe what you want. So long as we kill Cariffi fish. Whatever.
Corypheus died, and then he didn't. That's why he always felt wrong, like he didn't fit inside himself. He wears another man's life. I thought dying was forever.
So did I. Corypheus seems to break a lot of rules.
But is it him? Is he real? If a man can be dead and then not, could I have saved the real Cole?
What happened to him wasn't your fault.
His hands were bruised from beating on the wall. It was dark, like the cabinet where he hid to escape his father. His belly hurt like knives, throat cracked dry. He was alone. I pushed through and held his hand. It was all I could do. He said, "Thank you." Thank you.
It's just as I remember it. You didn't tell me you'd been here before. After the Blight ended, I came here to see Justinia. She was just Dorothea then, a revered mother. I needed her wisdom after the hero of Ferelden died. I didn't expect it to be so... deserted. It makes me uneasy. It's a small village and it's too early for the chant. I'm sure the sisters are somewhere.
Liliana, is that you?
Sister Natalie, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Val Rayo.
No, I've been here since Justinia died. This place makes me feel like she's still with us.
Inquisitor, this is Natalie, a trusted friend.
Wait, Inquisitor? You brought the Inquisitor here? My lady, forgive me for not recognizing you earlier.
You owe me 20 readings of the Canticle of Trials for that insult. She doesn't mean it. Natalie, listen. There is something hidden here. Something Justinia left for me.
Oh, really? What is it?
I don't know, but we'll find it. I'm curious to see what brought us all here. Justinia's letter came with instructions for me. They were a little cryptic. Always remember that faith sprung from a barren branch, that light has no fear of darkness. Above all, that strength lives in an open heart.
She must be hinting at something in here. Let's look around.
Do they still sing verses from the benedictions every Friday? That canticle was Justinia's favorite.
Yes, of course. We'd never give up the traditions of our most beloved divine.
That is lovely to hear. I stare up at the breach sometimes. It's terrifying, but beautiful in its way.
It is beautiful.
Have you seen it by sunrise?
When the sun rises through it, it splits into what looks like 1,000 suns, like a broken mirror.
Yes, spectacular, isn't it? You must be careful, Natalie. Justinia's enemies are making their move, vying for position and the Sunbirth's throne. What was going to happen, whether we would live or die. And then one morning, I found a single bloom on a dead rose bush. And I thought, even in the midst of all this, life finds a way. The Maker hasn't abandoned us. Justinia always said that compassion was my greatest strength. Doubt is easy. It takes courage to trust. What was that? Looks like we opened something. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Good old Leliano was playing you the whole time. Didn't you realize?
They never sing the benedictions here on Fridays, Natalie. Something so simple. And you got it so wrong. I wanted to believe, but you were lying from the start. Keep that pretty mouth shut if you must, dear. You've already told me everything I need to know. The prickleweed burrs on your hem, talking about the sun rising through the breach. It all points to a single place. Morel in the Dales, Grand Cleric Victoire's bastion. She sent you, didn't she? Victoire was always an opportunist.
Who is this Grand Cleric? I've never heard of her.
An experienced cleric. She never agreed with Justinia, but kept her ideas to herself. I suppose now, with Justinia dead, she thought she could make her move.
I want to know what this Grand Cleric planned here.
She sent Natalie here to see what Justinia was hiding, no?
The Inquisition has turned Thidas away from the true chantry. It must be stopped.
Stop us? You must be joking.
Mother Victoire is well loved by many. The Inquisition has more enemies than you know.
And Victoire thinks she can ally with them.
If we let her go, she'll just run off to her cleric, won't she?
Likely.
Kill me then. I am not afraid to die for my beliefs. At least I still know what I believe.
This has to be done. You know it.
I see what you've become. The righteous stand before the darkness, and the Maker shall guide them.
No! This can't be it. There's nothing here.
Check again. Perhaps the box itself is a puzzle. She seemed the puzzling sort.
No, it's just an empty box. There's a message carved in the lid. The left hand should lay down her burden. She's releasing me. The divine has a long reach, but it is always her left hand that stretches out. 1,000 lies, 1,000 deaths. Her commands, but my conscience that bore the consequences.
She apologized in the Fade. She said she failed you. This is what she meant.
All this time, Justinia carried the fear that she was using me, just like I'd been used in the past. But Marjolaine's games were trifles. Justinia gambled with the fate of nations. She needed me. No one else could have done what I did. She knows that.
Then you have to let it go. Let her go. You don't owe her anything anymore.
This? Now? After everything you've said and done? And my poor dear Natalie. I called her sister once, but I couldn't risk leaving her alive. Don't tell me to let it all go after all I've sacrificed to get here. Justinia tried to save me, but all it's done is made me realize I don't need saving. There is work to be done. I'll see you back at Skyhold.